Nkositalkshows, find your own voice, lead from within. So with me today, I'm with Amanda Murray and Grant Morrell. How are you guys? I didn't hear Amanda. I had Grant smiling. Are you guys okay?
Yeah, I just had to turn my thing on mute because my daughter's alarm was going off. So it's really
Okay.
early here.
Oh, so awesome. So the topic today is which belief or habits in your life come from trauma rather than truth? So guys, welcome to Gossip Talk Shows. Find your own voice lead. Welcome to Gossip Talk Shows family. Find your own voice lead from within. So today you may be always expected people to leave. Maybe you believe you are too much or not enough. Maybe you're overworked or overgive or shut down, and you call it just how I am. So, but really, is it how you learn to survive? So in this video, we are going to walk through steps, gentle practical steps to help you notice where pain has been driving the car and how to let truth take the wheel. It's not about therapy. We are not doing therapy, guys, but it's a safe space for reflection, healing, and growth. So scrap your notebook and get comfortable and join me, Grant and Amanda. So how are you guys? How do you feel about this topic, guys?
Amanda?
What do you think about this topic?
Well, it's interesting because I just reread the book You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, and a lot of it she talks about how your belief system creates the life that you have, and how so much of her life kept like showing up because of her negative thought patterns, and then even how so much disease in our lives is really based on the thought patterns that we have. And so even something like bronchitis, I used to get bronchitis every single year, like almost like clockwork at the exact same time. And then I like changed a lot of things about my life. And then I went back and I read this book at more as an adult, and it was like one of the thought patterns was like anger within the like family home or something like that. And I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. This makes so much sense as to why I consistently got bronchitis almost like clockwork every single year.
Interesting.
So what is it about our lives that we're struggling with? And so another one is like if you have neck problems, because my neck has been really bugging me from a car crash that I was in. And so it's like fear of like the future and like feeling stuck. And I'm like, okay, so then it tells you like a new thought pattern to try to create in your life about like feeling everything's flowing easily, and maybe that will help. And it's interesting because she actually like cured her cancer without going through chemo and stuff by like shifting her entire life and what she was eating and how she was showing up, and the thought patterns that she was creating. And she talks a lot about mirror work and how you can say like I love myself in the mirror, and like I'm everything's working out for my highest good, and different things like that. And how if you like truly start to internalize that, your life can shift. And I've read lots of self-help books on that, and I really do think that from all of that, things in my life have completely shifted. And I think sometimes that whatever it is that's showing up in your life can be caused by your habits, by who you surround yourself with, by what it is that you get up and do each and every day. What do you think, Kurt?
Great, great. I love that idea about bronchitis, like you say, it becomes a habit, it gets in your mind. Well, yeah, beliefs, habits, we all have them, don't we? We all have them. We run our life on a series of beliefs. Yeah, I believe this is, and I've got a friend who says, also, I believe this. Great. He believes that. And a lot of our outcomes do come from our beliefs. If we believe it to be true, if it's our truth, our belief, because it may not be a fact, but it's our truth. Every time someone does that, they mean this. Not necessarily. But if I choose to believe that's what it means, that becomes my truth. That's my belief. which is maybe not always wise, but this is how we live our life on beliefs. Habits, we've all got them. We've all got habits, haven't we? Good habits, bad habits. Quite often as a therapist, we're replacing one habit with another. We're replacing, I don't know, eating hamburgers with eating vegetables. Make it a habit. We have a habit. We wake up, we have a shower. I mean, you could call it a routine, but it's a habit because you do it, instinctively. You wake up. There's certain things you do. Going to the bathroom is an instinctive thing. That's a primary that you don't have to think. Different part of your brain's using that. But a habit is something you train yourself to do. It's not instinctive. Yawning is an instinctive. Going to the bathroom, yawning. These are, you don't have to think. It's a primal part of the brain. But brushing your hair, we wasn't born to brush our hair. It's something we learn to do. It becomes a habit. Different part of the brain. And these habits, where do they come from? Beliefs. We believe this every time someone raises their hand, they're going to hit me. Well, that may have come from trauma. Yeah, maybe someone does that. Could be asking a question. Could be picking something up to throw it at you. It depends on your experience. Depends if you've had a trauma, doesn't it? A habit. This is a habit. It's a habit for me because we clap in a certain way. When someone finishes speaking, we go, and yes, that's a trained habit for everybody to stop clapping and move on to the next section. That's something that's the habit is part of training. It's gone into my motor memory in my brain. That's just the way we clap now. When we clap in laughing yoga, Nomsa, I don't clap like that. I clap like that because you're stimulating meridians in your body, etc. So clapping is not just clapping, it's also medicine. It's giving you dopamine and it's aligning, so you're getting much more out of that. It's a much more efficient clap. I wasn't born knowing that. Wasn't born clapping. That's a learned behavior. Yeah, it's a habit where you do that. And people clap differently in different countries. People don't cheer at concerts in China, particularly. They clap. They've been taught to do it. They don't. Some celebrities get people aren't going crazy. They're sitting there like a almost like a concert. That's the way they've learned to do it. Had they been born somewhere else, they would have been exposed to a different way. So beliefs, habits, where do they come from? Is it truth? Is it a habit? Is it culture? Is it trauma? We've probably got a mixture of all, so it's worth exploring it. So that's what I think to start off. Nomsa, over to you.
I like it when you guys talk about the beliefs, how our belief system can shape how we make decisions and how we create our lives as well. And the bad habits, how they can destroy our lives at the same time. I think you have to understand your trauma or survivor beliefs because some people create beliefs and stuff and also define trauma in a simple term like explaining you have to ask yourself like where does this trauma coming from? Where does this belief coming from? Was it like a big event or sometimes it can be like a repeated emotional neglect when that belief shows up or constantly criticism. Like I've got children myself. I meet someone, although people report to me, I meet people, they say, my children, when we have a conversation, this always come up. Parents will say something like, my children will not do that, will not be able to do that. So she's not capable or he's not capable of doing that. So I'm like, how do you know that your child is not able to do that? Because you've already made a decision that your child cannot do that. I'm like, that's a habit or that's it somewhere trauma or something. Because for me, I personally don't know what my children can do, what they cannot do, unless they try it and they say no, they can't, or they say they're not interested. But for me to say my child cannot do that while they have not studied it, while they have never done it, I don't think I have. I think Amanda, she's a teacher, she'll agree with me. I don't think I have that authority to say. So I always question parents, why do you believe that your child is not good enough to take that responsibility or to go swimming or to be a swimmer or to be this? Parents basically they believe uh, that their child can do what they can do because they if sometimes if they like that activity or basically they have no like beliefs in their children. So and the adult as well, they do that. My wife can't do that. I hear a lot. Or my husband, I don't think is capable of doing that. I'm like, how do you know? So I think those are the habits and beliefs that we create. There's loads of beliefs that people make up.
Nice. I like it. I like it. I like it. It's good. It's good. It's how you see things. So, beliefs, I think, really, Amanda, unless you want to jump in there. Did you have something you wanted to say right now about beliefs? Or?
I just had grabbed the book. It's called
Yeah.
You Can Have Your Life by Louise Hay. And the part that I love the most about this book is the back section of the book where it has like all of the like possible like ailments that you may have, and then like what's the probable cause, and then like a new thought pattern that you can have. So like for example, have struggled with an anxiety disorder my whole life. And so the problems, anxiety, and then it says probable cause is not trusting the flow and process of life. And then the new thought pattern to tell yourself is I love and approve of myself and trust in the process of life, and I am safe. And so to keep constantly reaffirming that for yourself, and then eventually it will become true for you, because so much of what you worry about doesn't actually come true, right? And so much of anxiety is really just like worries that don't actually ever happen. And so you can even think about in your own life what's something that you worried about and like stressed over, and then like 5 years down the road wasn't even important. Right? And so when we think about that, we really can like let go of the stresses of life and trust that everything works out for your highest good in the end. The other day, I posted a little like mini video on Instagram, and it was about like learning something new, and how often do we learn something new, and how often do we forget that children sometimes like struggle with learning something new, because we as adults struggle with learning something new, and we forget that when we expect children to be able to learn something new all the time, like they're learning new things all the time in school, and we just expect them to be able to like be okay with it. But like so many children, if they don't understand something right away, it's like then they become almost oppositional defiant because they're not understanding it and they don't have that confidence to try something new. But I was talking about how if you build their confidence in other areas, it eventually will flow into
Mm.
what it is that they're struggling with in school, because we want to build their confidence in all areas so that they have that confidence and willingness to try. And I talked about then how I'd started learning how to bake sourdough bread, and like the first like week of it, I was like texting friends in Vancouver, and I was like sending screenshots of my like order to my friend. I'm like, is it ready? Is it not ready? What do I do? It looks too dry. And I'm like so stressed. And I watched like 100 different videos on like TikTok and Instagram of like how to make sourdough bread and how to start it. And now I've done it about 4 times, and I'm like, okay, I've got this. Like I've got it figured out. But the first like week and a half, I was like so stressed and so anxious about it, because it was something new. It's something I'd never done before. And we forget how much work it is to learn something new, and that we expect children to do it. And then I got this message from a friend on Facebook from my post, and she was like, learn something new was learning to love yourself again. And I was like, I didn't take that in that like perspective at all, but that's what she got out of my video. And it's because she's recently going through like a 25-year divorce, like a divorce after being married for 25 years. And I was like, wow, it's amazing how sometimes like our belief systems, even though my video had nothing to do with learning to like love yourself, that's how she took it. And because that's the like space that she's in right now, because that's her like belief system right now, is she's like believing that she's not lovable and believing that life is hard and believing that this has like really like put like a stopper on like the things that she enjoys in life. And I was like, you have this in 5 years you could look back and be like, this was the best thing that ever happened, but you're just in this moment of it right now where it doesn't really feel like that and it feels really hard, and that's okay. But you have the power right now to like choose all of these different avenues that are going to help you get through this, and then also help you in 5 years feel like, wow, I'm so glad that I went through that, because now I'm stronger and I'm in a better position, and maybe she's met an even better person in her life, right?
You got it. And this is it. Beliefs drive us. Beliefs drive us. They really do. Yeah, we got hundreds of years ago. People followed the weather because the weather was the gods. Were they right? Were they wrong? I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know. And neither did they. But they chose to believe that meant that. Um, in the world of NLP, we talk about, things mean, meaning of things. Things mean the meaning that we choose to attach to it. That's a belief. Yeah. We choose. Oh, you've got to be. How many times have I heard millionaires, multimillionaires, they're always up at 5 a.m. in the morning? Bullshit. Is that what? Every one of them? That's well, what? That doesn't make any sense at all, does it? Multimillionaires only have 3 hours sleep. That's another BS. Absolute. Some do. Absolutely true. Some don't. Absolutely true. There isn't one way to do it. I believe. That's my belief. But some people, oh no, no, no. They all do. Well, every single one. I was at. Oh, I wasn't. I went to someone's event once, and the person cited things like this about multi-million, all this. One of my colleagues was in the audience and got his phone out, and they said, what do you do? So I'm just going to phone. I know a couple of multi-billionaires. I'm going to ask them. He said, because I thought that person said he always got 7 hours sleep every night. They threw him out the course because he said, not true. It's simply not true. So that they was trying to promote a belief that was fundamentally untrue. Um, so be careful of our beliefs. Listen to our beliefs. I would say definitely become, because we all have them, and we've probably been programmed to use them either by ourselves or the people around us. Now, some beliefs are really, really good, really good, and what you're believing may happen to be true. Yeah, it may be true. If I believe that if I put my finger in a fire, a flame, and leave it, it will burn me and hurt me. That belief happens to be true. Yeah, I don't think anyone could disprove that. That happens to be true. But some beliefs, such as if I say this now, everyone will hate me, that is not true. Some will, some won't. But the fact that everyone will is a false belief. So examine your beliefs. Take a look at them. What beliefs do you have? Why do you have them? Where did they come from? Where did they originate from? Because a lot of my work is examining people's beliefs and taking a look, are they useful? Are they helping you or are they hurting you? So generally, they've been put there as some kind of a control, not necessarily a bad control, but a control to keep you safe, or other people put them there to stop you from rising above and being too outspoken. So it could be a negative control mechanism. It could be a protective control mechanism, protection for yourself, but it can be misguided. The example I'll always use is, our operating system, we need to look at them. We upgrade our computer, don't we? Otherwise, if we don't, it will get viruses. We don't upgrade our thinking, but we can get mind viruses. When we're children, we were taught don't speak to strangers. Pretty good advice if you're 5 or 7 years old. Doesn't work that well when you're 30 years old, and you've got to go out in the world and build relationships and network, okay? Because you're dealing with a different mental maturity at that stage. You can make better adult judgments of safety. So, you have to re-examine the rules that you're using, the beliefs that you're working against, okay? Beliefs, one, all wealthy people are evil. Really? Well, that's coming from their belief. That's coming from their experience of those people. They may have met some very bad, wealthy people, and therefore everyone I met, every single one, twice, two of them, have been bad. So therefore they're all bad. Not true, is it? It's simply not true. There's multimillionaire philanthropists who do an awful lot of good for the world. There's millionaire people who do some pretty bad things. It's all true. There's good and bad in all. So there's no absolutes. So here's the thing. When you listen to people, their conversations, and I do this it's like my mind can never switch off. If I'm in the supermarket queue, I hear people. If I'm on a train or a bus I hear people's language. When I'm coaching people, I hear their language, what they're saying, and I pick up on a couple of small words, as I did in the coaching session this morning. It's a lady in Switzerland, and I just heard, I'm like, what do you mean if? There was a word if. It made a massive, massive difference to the turnover of the finances of a company. If. What do you mean if? Only if they get that percentage, you'll get paid. What? Don't they get paid it anyway? And that's could make millions. Just that one word. That one word. Just picked it out because her mindset didn't believe it had the value to be worth that. Okay. So our beliefs drive us. Are our beliefs good? Are they bad? So first examine them. Recognize what listen to what you're saying. As we're saying, yeah, I'm going to try to do that. I said to somebody the other day, try is not a very convincing word. I'm going to try to concentrate throughout this session. Oh, it doesn't sound like you're too confident that you're going to be able to pull it off. So, is it beliefs? And then they form your habits. If you've got a belief, it then goes into a habit. It becomes your operating system, if you will. But where's it come from? Is it useful? Is it not? So let's talk about very quickly, is it coming from trauma? Trauma, we understand, trace that back. Where did that first come from? That belief, that understanding. I had to deal with a client with this the other day. So in the middle of the session, they felt a certain emotion had come up. And I said, well, where did that come from? What triggered that? What triggered that emotion? They wasn't sure. So then we started unraveling to find where it first come from. Where was the origin? Where was the first time that happened? Because quite often that will be the thing that started it. And other things that look like it, may not be it, but look like it later will trigger it and bring that emotion back up. And that's a sign of trauma, if you will. Do you ever have the uncomfortable moment, Amanda, when you see kids have trauma triggered in the classroom? Do you see it?
Yeah, I've had lots of kids who've had trauma, and then you can see them like start to escalate in different areas, and it's almost like there's no brain functioning going on at that point in time. It's just like the fight or flight that's completely taken over. And so for so many kids, it really is like they have no skill set yet to help them work through their emotions. And so it really is just like fight or flight, like there's no brain activity between what triggers them and what and then how they react. And I remember one time I had this little boy who like he was really frustrated with another kid, and he just said like, will you just shut the F up? And like he actually swore. And then he like looked at me and like just started bawling, and he's like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, it just came out. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, thank you for saying that. That kid was so annoying. But at the same time, it's like, and I was like, it's okay. And it was just like he was just so fed up and so frustrated, and there was like no brain activity going on. He was just like done with this other kid. And sometimes it just is like happens, and he's like and then he was so like upset and traumatized by the fact that he swore in class. I was like, it's okay, you're already upset enough by like your behavior, and he apologized and everything. But I think sometimes like it just like things just come out because you're just so exhausted, or you're so tired, or you're so frustrated that you don't have another tool to help you navigate that, right? And like other tools could be like just walk away, go find somewhere else to sit, go like tell the teacher that you're frustrated with another child, tell like ask if you can go work in a quiet space instead. So there's lots of different options that could happen, but in that moment it's sometimes just like overwhelming, right?
Mm-hmm. 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 Indeed, indeed,
I
indeed.
like that the child is saying, would you shush? I think sometimes when you don't expect things to come out from a child and then they come out, but they are speaking the truth. Because a child is innocent. Whatever they say to them, they mean it. And there's
Yeah,
no
it was
negotiation.
grade 3, and it was like it was so funny to me. I was like dying laughing inside, but on the outside I had to like be like, oh, don't say that in class.
There's no negotiation with a child. Whatever they say, they mean it. So I love that. Even the Bible says, the God says, if you want to see the kingdom of God, you have to be like a child.
You have
Because
to,
a
what,
child,
Nomsa? What was that? I didn't.
it says, if anyone wants to enter my kingdom, no one will enter my kingdom unless you are like a child. So meaning your mindset has to be like a child. Your mind, how your mind thinks, how you make decisions. Because if you make a decision now, a child who believes that they can be anything, they don't doubt themselves. If you say, okay, if Amanda say to the children, okay, children, we're doing this today, they get excited and some will be like, oh, and they'll be like, okay, get on with it. And then they'll produce a beautiful products. Like if you ask them to do whatever. They don't doubt themselves. They're innocent. Everything it goes. They
Mm, mm,
just
mm,
do
mm.
it, and whatever they say it with conviction, and it comes to pass because they don't believe. And that's the one thing that I saw when Satan was fighting me. He was trying to change my mindset. For me, in my mindset, anything that I try, even it could be for 5 years, I always believe that it will produce good results. But he was trying to make me doubt myself. That's why when I put my post, I always say to people, rise, rise. But some people, they always question, like, how can you rise? Whenever you have a problem, for me, that has helped me a lot. Wherever you have a problem, you rise. Nobody can help you if you cannot help yourself. You can have people saying good things, good helpers coming to your life to trying to lift you. But if you cannot lift yourself, like Amanda said, she suffers from anxiety and she's learning how to heal herself. And so she's reading this book and understanding, and this woman, she wrote the book How You Can Heal Yourself. I've learned that long time ago that you can heal yourself, because when you fast a lot, you will begin to a sickness that is really, you begin to feel it. Any anxiety that is really, or the stress that comes from you, you begin to realize it. Because for me, how I got to understand that I was under sacrifices, because things were being separated. Like sometimes if I have flu, if I like separate my body, if I use my mind, like I realize it was the angel of God teaching me to separate my body from sickness, healing myself, my mindset. Think, change your mind how you think. Or sometimes I will be like, I'm having a cold, but he would teach me because the angel of God, when it comes to you, it doesn't have a time to chit chat with you. It tells you what you need to do and you do it and you get on with it. So for me, it was like it comes in and it tells me the code, do this, like sneeze, but when you sneeze, separate your head with your mind and your body. Then I would do that and then it would disappear and I'll be like, what the heck is this? And then it would be showing me that not every sickness is true. Sometimes it comes, sometimes you can be linked with the dead, the anxiety, it can be linked with generational trauma. So like sometimes the trauma that we have or the delay that we have, we think that is the delay by other people, by others, but it's actually you blocking you. Like, let's say you want to get loads of views, or you want to get this, or you want business customers. You can actually block you by not trusting or not believing that things are going to work. So that's why being like a child, what God said, be like a child. Whatever you do, a child believes that he will succeed. A child believes that when they do something, my mom is gonna like it, even if they're not gonna like it. So that's what they believe. Like my daughter, I spoke to her, I think that was a year ago. She came to me with the handwriting. So I looked at her and I said, your handwriting. I was like, okay, do you know we always say good stuff in the house? And I was like, your handwriting is actually horrible. It could be better. It's like, it's horrible. So we need to make it better. But who can make it better is just when she looked at me, she was like, Mommy, serious? I was like, yeah. But yesterday I look at her handwriting because I said those words and then I explained to her that I'm not going to lie to her. Her handwriting now is awesome. And then I said, what happened? She said, it's you. You told me my handwriting was horrible. So she's been like working because she knows we're honest with each other. So if I'm doing something, she'll be like, Mommy, I don't think that is good. So then she'll start talking. So yesterday I watched her handwriting. I was like, wow, what happened? She was like, it's changed. Her handwriting is changed, Grant. You can
Handwriting?
read.
My handwriting?
Yeah, my daughter's handwriting is changed. My father's handwriting is horrible. You can't read. He writes like a doctor. You can't read anything that is written because he's a teacher. I don't know about Amanda's handwriting, but with my dad, when he used to write, he's dead now. But when he writes, you can't read nothing. It's like a doctor, like he's writing. I'm like, I can't read this. So that's why I said to my daughter, I can't read this. But now she's proved that, well, children are awesome.
What was that? Children are awful?
Awesome. They're
Oh,
awesome, Grant.
yeah, they go. Yeah, the children are instinctive. They had little shame, little fear, little ego at that stage. So they observe like sponge. They don't like to think they know it. They say, "Oh my God, everything's fascinating." I mean, I was watching a band in a pub a few months ago, and it proved the theory. The band were playing at the bottom of the stairs, right? So you got the band playing here, staircase was here. There's people downstairs, there's people upstairs. Different function going on upstairs. And as they walk past, they're going to walk past the band. And you saw, I don't know why people do this, but if people walk in front of a band, an audience, they kind of do this and they tiptoe as if they're being more quiet, but there's a band playing. You can't hear them walking anyway. So it makes no sense. And they put their head down about 3 inches as if to say, I'm politely getting out the way. Well, you're not actually. You're actually causing more distraction because the strange walking is making me look at you more and not see the band. It's a politeness, a protocol to go through. So I saw all the adults done this same ritual Right? A learned behavior. This is how you walk in front when you intrude in. Sorry, you put your shoulders up high, which shows you're being fearful. It's a display of I'm fearful, I'm sorry, I'm small, I'm humble, and you. It's a very polite thing to do. And then the kids come downstairs and ran right in front of them, but they was gone quicker than the parents. They caused less distraction. They had no bad intent. They didn't want to distract anyone. They did, but they just did their thing. They was oblivious to the ban. Oblivious. They had no embarrassment. But adults were embarrassed. Oh my God, they're going to have to walk in front of the band. People are going to think this of me. No one thinks anything. You just leave it and go out the door. No one cares. But we put this belief in that people are going to think bad of them. That's an installed belief. And I saw this demonstration, just chuckled while I was having a beer on a Sunday afternoon, and just thought, there we are. That is the case study of the theory, and that's what you see right there. Didn't end. Those kids will do the same thing when they get older. They would go, "Matt, this is just walk in front." They'll do the same thing, and it's strange how. One of my first clients, I really liked him. Really liked this guy. He was a cool guy, and he's a good guy. And the reason I liked him was the way he walked in front of the stage. He must have been drinking an awful lot of water, so he kept going to the bathroom. Quite often he's going to the bathroom. And when you close the door at the event, you don't want that clonk sound, so you close the door quite quietly. Some people are insane about closing it like this. He would just get up. He wouldn't do this in front. He was a Latin guy. He'd just walk in front of the stage. He wouldn't delay. He wouldn't call it. He'd just walk in front, go to the bathroom, close the door fairly quietly, come back and close the door fairly quietly, just walk back and sit down. And I like that guy's confident. He's a good guy. He's whatever he's doing is good. He's got natural confidence, not arrogance. No ego. I'm just going to the bathroom. What's wrong with that? And that's right. He just had the right attitude. And they said to me, would you like to coach him? I said, very much so. He's a good guy. He's got some good attributes. He probably just needs bringing out. And I raised his income 4,000% in 4 weeks. 4,000%. Yeah, no kidding. And I have a testimonial from him. So it's not my words, it's his. Um, Confidence. And I saw it because of the way he walked in front of an audience. And he wasn't doing anything, he wasn't performing. It was confidence. And I thought, he's just misguided, but he's got the confidence. So if you can don't create, don't fake, but find and manufacture your real confidence, there's no greater attribute you can have in life. So he believed that it's no big deal to walk. I have to walk in front of the stage because the door to the bathroom's there and I need to pee. So normal, quite a rational belief he had. Was it a true? It was true. His belief was true because he did it with confidence and no shame or embarrassment. He didn't project that to us. But when people apologize meekly for doing it, I'll start thinking, wow, why are they so apologetic for just going there? Why are they not allowed to do it? They must have real low self-esteem. Da, 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 da. And then I start believing those things about them. Not in a bad way, but if it comes to them picking, do they have confidence to do this or that? I would think, no, they don't. But I thought he did, and look at the result he got. Confidence. Or he believes. So examine your beliefs, because they could be the route to your fortune, would be my thinking. Amanda?
Yeah, I like that confidence is so important, and that's exactly what I was talking about with kids is building their confidence so that it spills out into all areas of their learning, because once they feel confident in one area, it'll start showing up in other areas. But then I was looking again just at our topic, and which is it beliefs or habits that show up in our life, and I think it's a combination of both. It's our belief system and it's how we show up each and every day. And I read a book a while ago called The Miracle Morning, and I've come back to that one multiple times as well. But he did some research on what the most successful people in the world do regularly. And it's not going to be exactly like what you said, where everybody gets up at 5 a.m. He talks about getting up at 5 a.m. But what the thing that I pulled from that book is these like regular habits that people do, and I've got them on my phone. So one is, he calls it the savers, and one is silent meditation. So like just like having some time in silence. One's affirmations. A V is visualization. So what visualize your desired goal. E is getting exercise every day. R is reading for like self-growth, and then the last one is scribing, so writing, journaling. And so just if you're really struggling with something in your life, I would suggest even picking one of these to start becoming a habit in your life, whether it's just journaling every night or starting to exercise regularly or something. And these habits will start to shift things in your life for sure.
I love that. I love what Amanda you just said about the habit. Dr. Olukoya always promote the silence. He says if you don't have a time for silence in your life, then you have a big problem. So he says you should have like 20 minutes or half an hour silence where you just silence. And that's when things you get creative and stuff. So I think, yeah, that's important. And also, Grant, you said examine your beliefs. They might be a way to your fortune. I like that.
True.
So I'm going to keep that. I'm going to stick it there.
Ah,
Every time the beliefs come, I'm questioning every belief that is that comes in my heart. Where does it come from? And at the moment, I'm dealing with the generational trauma beliefs that are blocking my life. So, and also I think I need to buy Amanda's book as well, so I can work on it. You'll be surprised how beliefs can destroy or how they can take us to our fortune. And also, I think speaking out what you believe to be true about yourself, if it's positive things, they happen. The words that we speak, like Bob Proctor said, they become things. It's 2 o'clock, guys. Um, any words of encouragement?
you had them. You had 'em. Check out your beliefs. Where do they come
Yeah.
from? That's it.
Yeah.
If you want to find your fortune, check out your beliefs because very shortly, I mean, there's a retreat going on that I was invited to coach at, and right now, at this moment, right now, they'll be wrapping up for the day on first day, and they will be talking about beliefs and habits because in the morning, the people there will have a big shock. There'll be a whole range of habits they'll be introducing them to morning routine, their habits, setting them up for success. And they'll be doing it every single day at a certain time, to a certain order, in a certain way, for a certain reason to get a certain outcome. It will be habits. They will be exploring their beliefs. They will be practicing new habits, which will feel uncomfortable at first, and then will become a comfortable habit so that they can make a great success. So, yeah, there we are. Strange timing with the habit and beliefs because that's exactly what we do at our retreats. So, yeah, take a look at that because it can literally change your life for the better. That's my words of encouragement.
Mine is the same, is really if you're struggling with something, is to really look at it like what is it that you do each and every day and then each and every week. And that will tell you if you're not doing any of those habits that I just talked about from that book, then maybe starting to introduce those might be the very first step in completely shifting your life.
And Namsa?
You're on mute, Nomza.
Okay, guys. For me, my words of encouragement is just keep rising. No matter how negative your mindset is, have the mindset of rising and erase that negative thoughts in yourself and examine your beliefs where they're coming from. And just whatever you do, just keep succeeding and keep believing and you get there eventually. It might take time, but eventually you get there. So if you're watching us, guys, on YouTube or Facebook, anywhere, please do subscribe. You do share our video. LinkedIn, you do share. Twitter, please follow us. And we have two groups in Nkositalkshows and Unique Billionaire Mindset. Please join those two groups and go to the website. It's www.hseia.coach and try to not try, please do sign up for coaching. We are not free coaches, guys. We have to pay the bills, but we come here and add value for you guys. So God bless, and I shall see you guys tomorrow.